Hello, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us in Tuesday's edition of Business Nigeria. These are the stories we are tracking for you at this time. Federal government committed to transforming Nigeria into a global cocoa producer and processor. That's according to the Vice President. FG announces new measures to tackle internet fraud. Shares cautious, dollar slips as trade concerns persist. Well, let's start with market figures this Tuesday afternoon and see what some of the commodities are looking like. Gold, silver, copper, and platinum. Well, for gold this afternoon, it's down 0.31% and it's negative for 10.50, but it sells an ounce for $3,386.70. But that's for an ounce of gold. For silver, it's $34.40. Copper is $474.95. Platinum is $1,060.61, negative 0.73%, and the copper is down 2.24%. Silver is down 0.85%, and gold, like I said earlier, is down 0.31%. All of these commodities are staying in red this afternoon. What could be responsible for this? Well, as always, the back and forth with regards to this tariff has been something that has affected all sides of the market in recent times. We've had this back and forth from President Donald Trump and countries' retaliatory tariffs given back to America, and it's affecting all commodities at this time. But let's see for food crops what they're also looking like. Everything is down also in red. If you see corn, wheat, cocoa, and cotton, the price of per metric ton of corn as at today is $435. Wheat is $534.75, and cocoa is $9,474. Cotton, $65.73. That's per metric ton. Let's see the percentage change here now. It's negative 3.25%, negative 4.25%. Cocoa is negative 3.17 and 0.40. And for this is 0.74%, 0.79%, 3.24%, and 0.60%. Well, let's take you to see what the global market is looking like this afternoon. Global markets shares cautious, dollar slips as trade concerns persist. Now, Asian shares edged slightly higher today while the dollar fell to a 6-week low as erratic United States trade policies clouded market sentiment and investors turned defensive ahead of key developments later in the week. Now, the gloomy global trade situation left the United States futures falling in the Asian session, falling to sustain the slight gains made during the cash session on Wall Street overnight. Now, Nasdaq futures is in red. You can see it bleeding down 0.3% each, with S&P 500. Both are doing the same 0.3% down this afternoon. But in Europe, Eurostock 50 futures and FTSE futures were up just 0.1%. That's opposite to what we have here. But MSCI's broadest index of Asian Pacific shares outside of Japan reversed earlier losses to last trade, 0.4% here in positive. And Japan's Nikkei rose 0.1% on the other hand. In China, the mainland markets returned from an extended break on a muted note, with the CSR 300 blue chip index up 0.3%, while the Shanghai Composite Index gained 0.4%. But for Hong Kong Hang Seng market, when you go to that market down here, it has jumped more than 1%, rebounding from Monday's one-month low. Well, let's see the oil market, which has inched up on supply. It ticked up today on concerns about supply, with Iran set to reject a United States nuclear deal proposal that would be key to easing sanctions on major oil producers, while weakness in the dollar also supported prices. United States West Texas Intermediate crude sells for $63.03, positive 0.82%. Brent crude futures sells for $65.09 per barrel. It has an uptick of 0.71%. Bonnie Light sells for $78.62 with a price decline of 2.84%. And for the OPEC basket, dealers offer $63.78 per barrel. And it stays in flat 0.00%.